All right, you guys, we are going to try something a little bit different today, a little fun, a little crazy. Um, you can call it what you want. Some people have called it string painting. I call it just having fun and experimenting. In your bag, you should have gotten a little cup. And then the other thing that would have been in your cup would have been some papers that are folded like this. And you can also use, I'm going to turn it out of focus up here. You can also use some paper in your from your sketchbook to do some experimenting. And then there was some string. So limited amount of string, so if you need more string, maybe you could just use something around the house. Embroidery floss works, a thick thread works. So try anything. All right, here we go. What you need is listed in the slideshow. But basically, I've got my paints, my watercolor paints. I've got my paper towel, and I've got my papers. So I'm going to start out, and the reason why you got a cup is it's kind of a nice way to do this for saturating our paint. So I did get all my paints really wet before I started. I put water on them, but I'm going to put a little bit of paint in this cup. I'm going to start with red. Try not to get stuff on your work area. So I've got red, and I'm going to use my string. So you got a string, you want to probably cut it about 6-7 inches, not too long. The one I had there was about 10. So I'm going to take and put my string into that cup, and I'm going to literally saturate that string. Saturate. Get as wet as possible. Soak it like you have been out in a rainstorm. All right, saturate it. And then when I pull it out, I'm just going to I'm not going to squeeze the paint out, but I'm going to just make sure there's nothing that's going to drip off. So there's the string. Nothing's going to drip off. And then I need a second color. So on the tip of this, I'm going to try some blue. So just over here in my tray, I'm going to stick about 1.5 inches in there in my tray. And then when I pull it out, the same thing again. It's going to probably want to drip. So I'm just going to kind of just run my fingers through there. Okay, I painted myself. So it's not all saturated. Or it's not drippy. All right. So we want to keep things clean, so make sure your fingers are clean. And using that paper that you have, or like I said, you could experiment with some paper from your sketchbook. I'm going to take my string, and on my paper, I'm just going to kind of put it down. I'm going to make a little loop. And then have that tail of the loop go off the edge so I didn't get any paint on that tail. Now you need something to put over the top of this, but we're making a print. If you put it over the top before we fold it, it's going to be bad. So this is already folded. You're folding it kind of like a card. So I'm going to fold that over. And then just anything, a little magazine, put it over the top. Don't use your hand without using like a magazine. Not a lot of pressure. All I'm going to do is pull that string through, kind of like the string on Woody from Toy Story. And then as you pull it, there's a snake in my boots. So I'm going to pull it straight out very slowly. I'm just holding it down with my hand. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it, just holding it down. And trying to pull it out of the same spot and not wiggle it back and forth. There's the end of the string. You want to get it out of the way. And let's see what kind of magic we had happen here. Open it up, and voila, there you go. So that is one example of a little string painting. There's a million things you can do with these. Let's try another one. Here's one here's one I did a little bit earlier. Purple and orange. And when you mix colors that are closer to complements, you might get some browns. So we'll see how this brightens up as it dries a little bit. So let's do one more here just for demonstration's sake. This time I'm not going to use my little cup. I'm going to go ahead and dip right in, and I'm going to do an orange. So I'll see if I can get that whole string in here and saturate it. And I probably am going to find out that I'm going to make a mess, and I'll go, hey, that cup that I got was really a much better idea than what I'm doing right now. So I just put it in there, saturated it, right? And then I'm going to just kind of slowly pull it out. Try not to get it in my other colors. Hopefully I didn't make a knot. All right, so there is my orange string. And I'm going to wipe off my fingertips. And what would go really good with orange? And I'm going to say, if I mix orange, what's next orange on the color wheel? I'm going to go to red. So analogous colors work the best for these. Analogous colors are the ones that are the neighbors on the color wheel. So I'm going to use red again. I'm going to do about 1.5 inches on the end and pull that out. And just make sure I don't have anything dripping off the end. So I'm kind of full of paint. Make sure you wash off your fingers. So I'm going to hold this string out of the way. And with the clean fingers, I'm going to put down my paper for printing. So this is kind of a block print idea, or not a block print, but a printing idea. And I'm going to make a little loop with my string. Come up and around. I've seen some people do 2 loops, like Fruit Loops. I've seen some good ones. I've seen some bad ones. I've seen all kinds of ones. So seems like the 1 loop kind of works the best. But now I'm going to flip this over with the clean fingers and put down my little magazine. You couldn't even use, I just used, at home when I was playing with it, I used a cardboard box from the recycle bin that was from the granola bars. So slowly pulling it out in the same spot. Try not to move it around a lot. So it's not a hurry, just slowly pull that out. You can see it's moving around a little bit. It's out of control, it moved over the other side. Well, let's see what surprise we have waiting for us then. Get that out of the way and open it up. And that's actually rather sweet. It's going to be beautiful when it dries. So those are just a couple of examples of how to do it. This was one that I did a little bit earlier today. Turned out really cool with using red and blue. So go for it, have fun, clean up after yourself, and make sure that you don't leave watercolor paints all over the place because they will stain. All right, guys, go for it.